Benefits of the Supra-Sex practice. We're going to divide this in 3 sections, okay? And I'm going to be really quick about this. First, we'll talk about pleasure, then mystic, and health, okay? So, pleasure, that's why everybody has sex, right? Because everybody looks for that pleasure that you find when you're having that relationship. And what happens, you don't want it to finish because there's a feeling of you guys being connected and you don't want that to finish, okay? So that feeling is the one that's going to last longer each time. Also the sex practice. Why? Because the man's erection is going to be longer each time, which this benefits women a whole lot more. Because let's be honest about the topic. When you're having sex, and as a woman, you're there feeling great and you're almost there to feel that orgasm, and you know what happens sometimes? The man comes and that's it. The practice is over, you're done, and you're not satisfied. And you were there like, oh man, I was almost there, to be having it, but that happened. But at the end, what happens? You just smile, yes, honey, oh, it was great, yeah. Or you end up, making noises like, oh, yes, I'm enjoying it, this is great. But, really, you're not even close, okay? So this makes it a lot more satisfying for women because the practice is going to be much longer, and women do need more caresses, more time to enjoy sex, okay? But let's remember, the objective of this practice is not to get to the orgasm or ejaculation, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to take that energy and you're going to transform it, and your body is going to absorb that energy to regenerate your body, okay? So let's just not forget what is the objective of the practice, but we're seeing the benefits of it, okay? We have heard about Tantra and everything to awaken the Kundalini, but what are the benefits, okay? So with pleasure, it's going to be a lot more satisfying, okay? And it's like going to the gym, you keep on having this practice, and each time the practice is going to be longer, okay? So maybe the first time it was only 20 minutes, the next time 23 minutes because you're just starting, okay? But after a little time after that, you're going to be having 30, 45 minutes, 1 hour without stopping, just there connected. And then you go to 2 hours, 3 hours. I know people, seriously speaking about this, they could have sex straight without stopping 3 to 5 hours. And that is a lot. How many of us would love to have one day with your couple for 5 hours? That is awesome. And this is totally real, okay? This is something that you must prove. After the practice, another benefit of it is that you feel more connected to your couple, okay? You feel more in love. It's not like when you have the normal sex practice that after you have come, that's it, one turns to one side, the other one turns to the other, and all of those nice words, the little details, how pretty you look today. Oh, look, I brought you this flower or this chocolate bar, but that all of that is because at the end, we know what the other person wants, right? Well, here, that feeling, that way of being doesn't go away. Actually, it's different. It's the opposite, okay? After you finish, you are more connected to the other person. You don't want to let it go. You finish and you want to be there cuddling up together, okay? Both feel that energy is still there and you really are developing more love, okay? Another of the benefits, because since the point is, as I had told you, not to ejaculate, not to get to the orgasm, well, sometimes when you begin the practice, obviously we're humans, and sometimes, you just don't get there with the objective, okay, no, this is something we have to do. It's like a job. No, right? You get, you're hot. That's the word, okay? So, you're there with all of these kisses and burning fire inside you, and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be hard for me not to get to that orgasm. So the benefit is that once you get to the point, to the breathing process where you're there with the mantras, E, A, O, that makes that desire calm down, okay? You're going to notice how your conscious awakens in that moment, and it brings you back from that animal desire, and it conscious you that, okay, you know, you're aware of what you're doing, and it calms you down. So it lessens the threat of getting to that orgasm. That it is satisfying. Oh, yes, it is. It is another type of orgasm, okay? It's like a spiritual orgasm. I really don't know how to describe it. Of course, I have felt it. I do this practice, and that's why I'm telling you guys the benefits. But for me, it's a whole lot more satisfying. It has a meaning of it, okay? I mean, I won't change this practice for the other. When I didn't know this practice, I thought that the normal way we had been taught of having sex was the best thing ever, and that was the best feeling ever. No. Now that I do this practice, you're like, no, oh, this is the best. This is awesome, okay? About the mystic, okay? There's mystic. It's mysterious. It's spiritual, okay? So it has an objective, okay? There is an objective to this. It's not just to be there with your couple, having sex, having fun. No, it has a real objective of it, okay? You're creating something consciously. You're consciously using the energy of the universe. You're using your sexual energy to regenerate your body, okay? To create other inner bodies, okay, to make yourself healthier. But we'll talk about health later, okay? But here in this spiritual world, in this spiritual practice, that's what happens. Another path opens and you awaken, okay? You awaken to other dimensions, which means that you have more lucid dreams, okay? You just dream, and your dreams now have a meaning, okay? They tell you something. They tell you, you know, be aware of this, be aware of that. When you meditate, it is much easier to concentrate. It is much easier to go to this 6th and 7th dimension. So it's a whole lot easier in that mystic world. Also, you get guidance from your being, okay? Since you're connecting to your own being, you get guidance from your being about the Supra-Sex practice, and they start guiding you, and they start telling you, you know, don't do this, don't do that, don't eat this, stop watching this, and they start telling you, you know, or they tell you, like, you know, be careful because something is going to happen that you might be in risk of having an orgasm. So before it happens, you have already been aware. So it is great because when you're in that practice, after you had that teaching and you're like, oh my God, yeah, this is what I dreamt, this is what they were telling me to be aware of. I mean, it is really, really the best thing ever, okay? Also, they teach you about other stuff, not only about the sex practice, okay? You get wisdom from things about the universe, okay? Things about the animal kingdom, from many, many different things, from about health, what to eat if you're feeling a terrible headache or stuff like that, if you need to make a decision, okay? So all of a sudden you see that you are taken through this path, okay? Also, which is like really interesting, and I was like so surprised about this practice for this to happen, is that all of a sudden you develop a wisdom about something you think you didn't know, okay? For example, let's say that you like music, but it's like you never had music class, but all of a sudden you start liking the guitar, for example, and you say, oh well, yeah, I'm gonna buy myself a guitar, and you start going on YouTube, seeing how you play it, but all of a sudden you discover that you're really, really good at it, and just for intuition, you just know how to place your hands and start playing with the guitar and find out that, oh my God, I mean, you develop a skill, okay? So it is one of the most amazing things that is like something that is not for someone to tell you. It's something that you guys have to do and you have to discover to see that this thing is like, wow, I mean, really, okay? Health, it is really, 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 really good because it mentally and physically helps you, okay? Heals you is the word, I'm so sorry, okay? And you're going to notice that you become stronger, okay? Healthier. That if you have asthma, for example, you're going to notice that you're not going to get sick as fast as it used to be before. Like when the season changes, you know that if you have asthma and the season changed, you know you're going to go in crisis, where you're going to see that the crisis is going to be lower, okay? That you're going to really, really start feeling that your lungs are stronger. So you really, everything that is here, you can prove it, which is great. Also, you notice that your memory spans, okay? Let's say when you used to go to school, you know, sometimes they make games like you have to memorize this person's name, then the other, and the next person has to like remember those 3 plus the other 3 ahead of you. So if you have already played that, you know, like, oh no, I could only remember like 5 names, and after that I forget. Well, after you start doing this practice, after a time, you see how when you could do that activity again, you're going to be like, wow, you know what, my memory has expanded. Now I have the possibility to memorize something longer, okay? Like, wow, first only 5 names, now you could remember like 9 names, okay? So you see that, wow, you know, it really, really, really expands your memory. It also improves your memory in the way of sometimes you're very forgetful and you're always like, oh my God, where did I leave my keys? And you just can't remember. Or you could just hardly remember where were you a month ago, okay? So everybody knows how your memory works, okay? So after this, you could like check yourself and see, oh my God, this is me, how it was my mind when I started, and now after that, okay? Another great thing is that you also become more creative, okay? Don't know how it happens, but you just begin to be more creative, okay? If you're seeing something, your mind just goes like taking some information out of nowhere, and you come up with some really good ideas, and you're like, oh, well, I never thought of that. And you just notice how creative you become, okay? Obviously, if you're becoming healthier, you're feeling younger, okay? Because one thing is the age, but another thing is how you physically and emotionally feel, okay? So it makes you obviously like physically radiant, happier, okay? Obviously, if you're feeling better, you could see it outside, but you're also feeling that your body feels younger, like if you were years younger, okay? Another great thing is that there is no pregnancy risk, okay? So you don't have to be taking pills, none of those stuff, because there is no way that you're going to get pregnant. And if you want to have a baby, you could do this practice. The only difference is that you're going to ask your being that this is what I want, okay? You know, I want to have a baby, okay? So during that practice, only one sperm, the best out of all of the sperm that the man has, only one, the best one is going to come out, and it's going to be the one you're going to have the baby, okay? So it is really good. Just remember that once you know that you're pregnant, you have to stop this practice, okay? Why? Because this is regenerating your body, okay? It's like taking vitamins, okay? So all of these vitamins, I'm going to take them for me. Once I'm pregnant, the body is going to start creating vitamins for that being inside me. So what happens if I do this practice, I'm taking away that energy that was for creating that body for me, okay? And the body could only do one thing, okay? It's only one creation, or it is creating you, or it is creating the baby, okay? So if you decided to have a baby and you are pregnant, then that energy is for the baby. So don't do this practice, okay? Thank you guys very much. Bye.